Thank you for joining us on today's edition of Platform. And as usual, since the pandemic started, coronavirus, we've been trying to enlighten people to ensure that, yes, what you need to do always, if you are going out, you have to wear a face mask and ensure that it's properly used, covering your nose and your mouth. And wash your hands with running water for at least 20 seconds. You also need to observe social distancing, whatever you're doing. If you don't have the need to go out, don't go out at all. Remember, you have to act responsibly in order to stay safe. The only way we can mitigate the effect of COVID-19 is also to observe all protocols concerning the disease. I remain yours sincerely, Yakubu Tadi. We have a guest. He is not entirely new. He is somebody who has been here before in different capacity, and today he is coming back in another capacity. Sir, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell our viewer who you are? Let them meet you.
Like you said, I may not be new. My name is Stephen Abednego Jings. I grew up through my life in the local government service, rose to the rank of Assistant Director of Information. From there, the Governor of Plateau State, His Excellency Barrister Simon Bakola Long, deemed it fit, graciously appointed me Chairman Management Committee, Pankshin Local Government, served there between 2015 and 2017. After I left that place, I retired to my business area where I do a little business for 3 years, and within that period too, again, God was so gracious again, the governor in his magnanimity again nominated me to serve on the Federal Character Commission in Abuja, which Mr. President also graciously accepted the nomination. And today I'm a commissioner in the Federal Character Commission representing Plateau State.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
When you said little business, how little? Little can be relative. You were in business? Or?
Yes, I'm in business. And when I say little, I'm into recreation. And,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's not little?
Oh, well, the way you look at it, I just call it little.
So having been able to manage people, you should. How is managing people and managing business and managing people, having been chairman?
You see, in the business I do, like I told you, recreation, I deal with people too.
Yes.
And the way I deal with people in the office is the same way I deal with them in the business, because you have to be humble. You must put a little bit of humility in what you are doing for you to get your customers. Okay. If not, if you are hard on them, you have a problem. So also it is in the office. You have to have humility in the way you treat people, so that you garner the respect they have for you. I think they are not too different at all.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's quite interesting.
Yes.
Back to your office and Federal Character Commission. What is it all about?
Yes, Federal Character Commission, as the name suggests, yes. It's a commission that is charged with the responsibility of ensuring and monitoring employment, recruitment in government agencies, make sure that the federal character principle of fair sharing, equity in whatever government business, particularly employment. But of recent, we brought in another aspect of it. It has to do with socio-economic and infrastructural development. Ensure that these things are distributed equally so that no part of this country or nobody feels he is being marginalized. Like you all know, that today in very many parts of this country, some parts are feeling they are marginalized. Whether it's right or wrong, that has to be proved. But essentially what we do in the Federal Character Commission ensure that in doing government business, you should reflect federal character principle of fairness, equity, and justice in what you do.
How simple or how difficult is this responsibility, given the fact that resources and also appointments are few, and then demands are huge?
Yes, we are talking about trying to distribute the scarce resources and scarce infrastructure. It sounds difficult, quite all right, because you cannot go around. For instance, if you want to recruit like 20 people, and we have 36 states in this country, and you are supposed to give one to each state of the federation. Sometimes you find yourself in a fix. How do you share 20 slots? What the commission does is to look at where the recruitment is taking place and see which state has been shortchanged. I don't want to call it shortchanged, or which state is not properly represented in the quota of that state. There may be, in that respect, the commission will try to advise the MDA to ensure that those states that do not have fair representation in that area, they should try to bridge the gap. In this situation, somebody may want to say that in some of the areas you may want to say they should sack some people, but that's not the issue. We're talking about employment. You can't go about sacking people now because government is talking about employment. So what the commission tries to advise the MDA to do is try to bridge the gap that is there. I think that's just essentially what it is. So that today, if you are doing for MDAA, tomorrow B, you will now try to balance it to that area. So this is essentially what the commission would always advise the MDAs to do.
Okay, you're just settling down. Recently, you addressed staff in your office here in Jos. What was the thrust of that address?
It was supposed to be an introductory kind of a meeting, and I went there to introduce myself and to get to know the staff. What I told them essentially that maybe for about 2 years now, we've not had commissioners in the commission. They may be doing whatever they wanted to do because there was no supervisory role actually, proper supervisory role. But now that we are here, today the commission is fully constituted, 38 of us in number, that is 37 with the chairman in place. And so I told them that, look, we are here, it's not going to be business as usual. Whatever thing you used to do, we will not do it the way you have been doing it without any supervision. So the way the federal character is so structured is a manner that you must follow the rules of engagement with MDS. So if before you are not doing that, please, you have to sit up, you have to do it the way it is done so that people will respect the commission. If the commission had lost its glory, now is the time for us to restore the glory of the commission, and we ensure that our mandate is fully implemented to the best of our ability for us to have a good Nigeria.
I don't know whether you've had time to go through files, been briefed. If you have been briefed adequately about the situation in Plateau, what did you find?
Honestly, what is worrying is that most MDAs, when the commission arrives them to explain their recruitment policy, some of them don't respond. I think this is essentially what I have discovered. So MDAs normally, when they give their letters, they don't respond, as it were. Some of them do, but I've seen a list of MDAs that have not been cooperating actually. And I think essentially this is because the commission has not really come down hard on them. But we want to appeal to MDAs. Whatever inquiry the commission is trying to find out from you, give them the data. Mostly we deal with data about who employs what is the percentage of staff recruitment as you were, state by state, local government by local government, so that we'll see that let's have a situation where everybody feels that he is fairly treated. So essentially the problem is most MDAs just think they will not reply whatever inquiry the commission is asking them.
We've had cases, the Plateau Youth Council in the past has been on the case of non-representation in some MDAs, federal MDAs in Plateau State, and then you find the PYC, I'm glad that you are also a member of the PYC, that you are carrying out that battle for representation, particularly for staff on levels 1 to 6 who are supposed to come from catchment area. But you find that the chief executive dominates with people very far from his community, which is far flung from the immediate catchment area. So how serious is this problem with MDAs, federal MDAs here in Plateau State?
Like you said, we in the PYC, when we were very active, actually we were pursuing some of it. We've been crying about it loud that federal MDAs should try as much as possible follow the process. 70% of its junior workers, 1 to 6, are supposed, in fact, must be from within the catchment area. But like I said, some MDAs flout this order. And I think now that I'm there, where I act like a prefect, superintending over some of this, I think maybe we will find a solution, not properly a solution in one day, but we have to correct this what is happening in this MDA. We will impress on the chief executive of the MDS to follow the rules. And what I intend to do is I will be going on a fact-finding mission soon to some of these MDS, if not all, for us to find out, is it true they have abided by this rule of 70% of junior workers from the catchment area? Where you have not done that, we will sit down and talk, and let's see how we're going to correct this imbalance. And we just have to do
But
that.
you talked earlier about some of the chief executives don't respond. It looks at the organization, yes, good as it is, it can bark, but it cannot bite.
We have enormous power that we can back and bite. And it's just that, like the legal officer was briefing us in Abuja, part of our induction, I asked him this question too. I said, well, yes, you can back, but it's like you have not beaten anybody yet. And then he said, well, that actually at the time they go into trying to enforce the law by going to court, of course, you have to prosecute you. Some of the MDAs come begging that, okay, let's settle out of court, please. We don't want any problem. I think this is what most of them do. That is why you don't find them taking most of them to court. But honestly, there are guidelines, there are rules that if you don't comply with this principle of the federal character, I will ask you to make amends and you refuse. We take you to court. The court prosecutes you. You go, and that is the law. So I see a situation where if we come down hard on one or two of them, or two MDAs or chief executives, maybe this problem will be a thing of the past. But honestly, that is the area we are going to enforce seriously in this our tenure with the rest of the commissioners and the chairman. So this is what we want to do. We must ensure that we use some MDAs as examples so that people will actually toe the line.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me bring you something to talk about something Plateau people have been doing. I think for the first time, if I stand to be corrected, this is quite different. Different groups from the legislature, the executive, traditional rulers, judiciary, they have been going to interface with you people who have had the privilege of appointments. What is your take on this development as regards the Plateau? Hinging it on the Act Plateau, Think Plateau philosophy of His Excellency, the Governor of Plateau State?
I want to say that in times past, Plateau State has been lagging behind. And I think our problem essentially, we don't have a synergy amongst us. Amongst us in the sense that those our people that are in MDS, in high places, they are supposed to help to lift the other ones from. Because our representation at the national level, I don't think we have a fair share of it. I don't have the figures. I don't have any statistics. But I'm a Plateau man, and I should know. I don't know for whatever reason, even whether it is because of our complacency or it's a deliberate policy that we don't hold the hands of those who are supposed to be taking people from the state and taking them to the federal level, so that they too, I've seen some states doing it, take somebody from the state, before you know it, become a permanent secretary in the federal, but this is not the case here. We all crowd around here, we refuse
now
to
that
move.
you're there, and they have also been visiting you. So what is the message in that visit?
Yeah, the message is for us to try, whatever it is, wherever we find ourselves, particularly in MDS and military, from director down, we should be able to find vacancies where they are in the federal establishment. Let us get our people from the state service or local government service, move them into the federal service, so that Plateau State will be fairly represented. I think we should have our own fair share of what is happening at the national level. Let us not just sit down in Jos and everybody is crowding down to go to the secretariat or go to the local government. Essentially, we have to help ourselves. Let us not behave as if somebody will come and help us. We must help ourselves. And maybe some of us that are being privileged to be there now in that commission, we we don't recruit quite all right, but we want to nose around and see where Plateau State should have a fair share of representation, particularly in the federal agencies and ministries.
So, what relationship do you hope to establish between the Plateau State government and the Commission?
Our relationship is to now I represent the state on that board,
yes,
on the Commission. It is for me to synergize between the state government. Here I'm talking about probably the head of service, the office of the governor, those people who move staff particularly. We make sure that we have a synergy. They should be able to tell me. If I tell them I have notes around here, found vacancies here, they should be able to find the right type of staff to push, if we need it in the federal level, to push it there. Secondly, I want a situation whereby the state should take the commission very seriously. Recently, I was with the governor. I was telling him that I went to the office. There's no road going to that office. If it rains, maybe we have to get a boat to enter that place. And he was laughing. The road is actually very bad. Even within the premises of the commission is very bad. In our office down there around Zarmaganda railway crossing. And he promised us to do something, that you will see what he can do. But because the state government gave out that land to the commission to build that office. So I think a lot needs to be done, particularly on the road, so that if the commission comes calling, because the commission may be coming on tour, and I told His Excellency, I said, Excellency, please help us. Let's do that road. And I told him that essentially we will not just do the road to the commission office. We want to extend it. Let the people, community too, have our feeling. Have our feeling too. They will feel part of us in that place. So I told him, if we are going to do that road, sir, can we take it down to the community? It's part of our social responsibility, so that they too have a fair share. But as it is, we are trying to see if the community is trying to see if we can do something about the road. But honestly, I laid this complaint to His Excellency and I said something would be done about it. And I'm just waiting for the day they will mobilize to site so that let them see what they can do about that road. It's not fair. They go there, the federal agency, we are the ones that gave them the land, they build it themselves, and then for road, we have to run to them. I think His Excellency is committed to doing that.
Okay. Yes, there are issues in Nigeria, particularly one issue, the agitation for restructuring and other issues. You've mentioned talking about what you do in your commission. How would your commission ensure that equity is brought to bear so that these hues and cries about restructuring and the rest are laid to rest?
This restructuring, I keep saying it, not on this platform, but on some other platforms, that when you hear somebody shouting restructuring, his interest is not being taken care of. And that is essentially what I see.
And you have a federal character.
And we have a federal character. Now that we are going to talk about, one of our mandates is to now see equitable and fair distribution of infrastructure and social amenities. It is a very difficult mandate, this particular one, of ensuring fair share of infrastructure. But we are trying to evolve a system where we work with the budget office during the budget presentation. Let's see where are these projects going to be sited. Can we afford to lump every developmental or infrastructure in the south, southeast, southwest, and the northeast, north central, northwest? Can we afford to lump? Let's see your budget. How are the MDAs budgeting this thing? If we see it, if we discover that some of these projects are going to be sited in a particular location, too many of them, we will ask them to move them. We have to advise the president. But the president, because we submit our report to him directly. You see, this geopolitical zone is being overloaded with social amenities or infrastructure. Can we move some to other geopolitical zones? I think essentially this is the other mandate we are trying to consider. Before now, everything borders goes round about employment, but this particular one, we want to ensure that all this crime. We don't have this in our zone, we don't have road, we don't have airport. You know that just too, we don't have an international airport, so we will cry too that just should be given an international airport, should be given an international status. We have long been asking for this. These are some of the things we will keep asking government to do so that people don't keep crying that they are marginalized. like I told you, when I hear people talk about structure, I look at the person, I know where he comes from, and essentially you just discover that one of his interests has not been taken care of. He will cry. You know,
but that is justified also.
Yes, you could hear what's his name? This man from South, this Baba
Clark
was, if I went to sue the federal government, 500 billion naira that there in South or the South is being marginalized. We are yet to see when they go to court. I don't know in what area he is crying, but if it is because of employment, the statistics, we are trying to bring out the statistics so that we can bring out the figures. Let everybody see who is marginalizing who. When we were doing that, somebody brought up one statistic, gave the South, in terms of staff structure, gave the South 52%, gave the North 48%, and then the drumbeat started dying gradually because that thing took them by surprise. So I want to see a situation where the Federal Character Commission will set in motion. Let us get the exact figure. Let us know who is marginalizing who in terms of appointment now, because they were crying about appointment and employment. So we want to do that, to design a mode so that we'll get the exact figure or near exact. Let's say who is marginalizing who.
Let's look at the nature and scope of your work. If you talk about this, the legislature is quite important in this aspect too, given the fact that the National Assembly also puts pressure that yes, in constituency allowance, in constituency projects, for their constituencies and the rest, the leadership of the National Assembly is supposed to have also preferred. So that is their prerogative and privilege as a legislature. So these things are it's going to be a tough call that you want to do this.
Yeah.
How would you handle this? How would the commission handle this issue?
Actually, you know, we do a lot of this thing in collaboration with the National Assembly. We are not just operating on our own. The fact that we report to the president doesn't mean we don't collaborate with the National Assembly. There's a meeting point for us with the National Assembly for us to look at. Don't forget that in the National Assembly we'll find chairman on federal character, chairman of the Senate committee on this. They are all there. And so there is no way we can do this in a vacuum without recourse to the National Assembly. So we have to work this is a government. We are not working at par, at a crossroads with these people. So we essentially go to the committee responsible for some of these issues and see if we can have a workable solution to some of these problems. So we are not just working alone. And don't forget that it was the Senate Committee on Federal Character that screened us. So yes, so we cannot say we will not be working with them because they have a Senate Committee on that. And so if anything, we will have to work with them. Some of these things I'm talking about, infrastructure, these are areas we need to sit with them. Let's see how can these amenities be shared fairly, distributed evenly within the geopolitical zone, within the state, and within the local government.
Is there any, by the present commission, is there any vision or strategic plan put in place? Because it's a 5-year tenure, and within the 5 years, has the chairman also unveiled things that you would want to do within these 5 years so that people can begin to track and monitor? No, this commission promised this, but it's not cast in stone. It may not be because of the human nature and involvement and diplomacy that may have to be used in certain instances. Are there clear goals that have been set?
Yeah, if you listen to my chairman, Dr. Mrs. Muhiba Farida Dankaka, she was very emphatical in her maiden address that the commission will go on a staff auditing exercise. I think this is the first thing we want to do, staff auditing exercise. What do we mean by that? We are going to look at the MDA staff nominal role. Let's see, have there been marginalization, so to speak, as people cry around? 1. 2, is there a way we are going to effect this amendment to ensure that those who have been marginalized get their fair share of what is there at the federal level? This is the number one task we are going to do now. And I think as it is, she has set up 6 committees. We are trying to work out to see if some of this NDA, what they have done in the past 1 year, is in line with the principle of the federal character. This is essentially what we want to do first, because without doing this, you cannot do anything as it were. Secondly, this infrastructural thing I'm telling you about, it is one area that the commission wants to, this particular commission wants to concentrate and make sure that its impact is felt in the distribution of social amenities and infrastructure in this country. Let us not be sitting and talking about stuff. When people are crying, hey, they don't have roads, they don't have water, they don't have electricity, we are going to pursue that one. I think these two for now, to make sure that some of these things are put in place. Essentially, by the third one is to make sure that the staff of the commission, whatever they were doing, let them key into our mandate now. Let them key into what we are brought to do, the changes we are going to bring onto the commission. So I think this is what we intend to do for now. Let us not put some bogus agenda. At the end of the day, we don't achieve anything. So we will go slowly. We have 5 years. If by the first 1 year we are able to audit the MDA, there are very many. From my record, there are about 503 for now. If we are able to audit them and see that we bring sanity into the MDL, I think it will be good for us, because after that, some of this crime will die down.
Okay. Let me bring you back. Would you suggest that this be replicated at state levels? State governments also have a character commission to also having worked and also manage a local government. Would you want to see that happen?
The tendency is people think that we are only working for federal government. No. It transcends down to the state and local government. That is why we have our office here. They ensure that some of this, if you go to our report, you will see our staff have gone out to audit some of these MDS states and even local government. You will see the statistics. I didn't bring it. They have put down the statistics of staff, local government by local government in the state. And so that if the state wants to do something, the commission has the right to ask, why are you lumping this appointment here, or you are lumping this recruitment in this place? The commission has the right to investigate that thing in the state and ensure that even the state and the local government comply with the principle of the Federal Character Commission.
Well, in wrapping up, I would want to ask you, what should Plateau people expect? Because this is a very important commission. You're representing the state and the expectations. What are those things that you think that they should? And also, how would you manage it? Because the unemployment rate is high. I'm sure. Do you sleep?
No, I do sleep sometimes because cold. And now the CVs that have come to my office, they are like this. But you see, Yakubu, the issue is, many people think that the Federal Character Commission is a Ministry of Employment. It's not a Ministry of Employment, So when you say you bring your CV to me, and I begin to, I said, I have a supervisory role on the MDAs. But my job essentially is to make sure that if there is recruitment, make sure that you find your way there, and Plateau State share is given to her, adequately. This is what we do essentially. But at the street, like, people have mistaken this thing to be a Ministry for Employment, and I'm getting the heat already. But I can withstand it. When you bring the CV, yes, if you go for recruitment, let me know, so that if they are doing it, your CV is handy. I will just say, yes, my people applied, and why are they not considered? This is what I want to do. But I keep saying one thing, that people go around. This is a very serious one. People go around, tell people that they will give you employment, give me money, I'll go and give Steve Jings so that he will give you employment. I beg. I don't have employment for sale. And anybody who does that is doing that at his own peril. I will not take it. And if I find somebody doing that, even if your candidate were to get something, I will just, if I have the power, I will stop it. So I don't sell employment. I don't have employment for sale, and I don't employ people. That's the truth. I don't. So, but like I said, in the totality of the entire process, I will make sure that Plateau State share of the national cake is well taken up, is well protected. Everybody will have his own fair share. Because I'm going to be investigating to see how many Plateau people are where and at what point.
I think that's a fine point to leave it. And
yes.
We'll hope to bring you again to know the journey and to also know if there are cries from Plateau people, we'll present them to you.
Yeah, let them come with the class. Essentially, I'm there so that we'll listen to it. If anybody feels he has the qualification and he's been denied, we'll look at it.
Okay, and thank you for being here on the program.
Thank you.
Viewer, that's the much we can take on this week's edition of the program. Next week, we'll bring you another exciting guest. Goodbye, and God bless.